Right here.
So here, so yeah, so you've got the lock. So this is the lock, right? So it's here, basically there. You make that right angles. You turn at right angles. You turn at right angles, and then if you want to, you can flip it back and switch to another. But generally speaking, it's that.
Okay.
Okay. So your thumb in the middle of the hand, fingers in the middle of the hand. So don't go for the wrist. Go, there you go. So you want to control the hand, and you want to bend at the wrist. So the wrist is the bending point. That's it. And then you turn 90 degrees, and then you turn. That's it. And then you just lean forward at 90 degrees. There. That's it. So when you grab this, you have one hand or two hands, and then so you go.
Yep.
And you bend it at the wrist.
Mm-hmm. All the might.
Mm-hmm. So that's the fulcrum's fairly the point of contact is fairly equidistant for us right now. It's pretty much in the middle. So you've got two hands against my one. So from here you pull it closer to you. You have stronger leverage. So you do that, and then you apply the pressure. If you move too far away, I'm just going to walk after you and punch you in the face. So you're not going to have that kind of. If you're going to do it, you'll have to step back and then step back. But from here, we're looking at a mid-range technique. So you're in the middle of the hand, like that, and then you apply the pressure. Keep it close to your body so you have better leverage. And what I do to neutralize it is, what do?
Sink your mass to the floor.
There's
and
that.
Apply an alignment to your hand.
Right.
So that your hand is one with your mass.
Mm-hmm. And how do I maximize that leverage? So, because it comes down to leverage. You're applying a lever. You're trying to get the better strength than I have. So you apply your strength.
You're relaxed.
Yeah, you pull in. Well, I'm relaxed because I'm doing it correctly. It's relaxation, well, and vice versa. So I'm doing it correctly because I'm relaxed. What relaxation means is that I'm only applying force where it's useful. So I'm only applying pressure to maintain a particular structure, not to try to accomplish anything. I'm not trying to bend your wrist. I'm not trying to bend your wrist backwards. I'm just trying to maintain stillness. So as you apply pressure, go ahead. Give it everything you got. Okay. Okay, now your hands have slipped down, so if you want to have that strength, it's got to be right there, and you pull the little fingers in towards you, and you bend it like that. That's it. So that's what you're doing. Go ahead. Come on.
Well,
You're going to split my hand in two before you actually bend my wrist. That's it.
Yeah,
So what I'm doing, what I'm doing is not using muscle against it. I'm using leverage. Now, muscles are required to apply leverage. Wow. That's okay. No, it's just you move the bones in my hand apart. Oh, you're pushing and squeezing really hard. So, but that's okay. But you weren't able to bend my wrist. Okay. So, give me a little red spot there from where you were pushing. So what I'm doing, do that again. So you apply that pressure, and you pull it close to you, and then I try to muscle against it, and you just bend. Right? And if I use muscle, of course, my wrist, these muscles here are not stronger than all of the leverage of your waist and your body that you're applying to it. Right? So if you apply that, you use your waist, you use your strength, you use that, you apply all that, lean right into it, try to turn it, bend it right back onto my forearm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm not stronger than that. I'm not stronger than all that leverage. Yeah. But what I do is I put the fulcrum where the pressure is. So when you apply the pressure, instead of me trying to bend from here to straighten the arm out, or trying to pull from here to pull that out, I put my mind right where the pressure is, and I let that become the still point, and I move around that. So you do that, that becomes the pivot point. So now you're standing on a log trying to push it underwater, but I'm keeping the middle of the log exactly underneath your feet, so you can't push it underwater. You can't push one side underwater. You can't twist it. You can't bend it. I'm keeping the center point lined up with your thumbs. So as you apply pressure, pull it in closer, pull it in, use the leverage. Now you keep your still point right on that thumb, and you bend your whole body around that point where you want the pressure to be, like that, there. And I do the same thing. So you apply the pressure, And you remember this against this. You want to bend that. So you apply the pressure, pulling close. So this is pulling, this is pushing. Okay, and you apply that pressure, and I keep it still. There, you're starting to get it. Oh, I'm starting to give in there. There, yeah, you almost found it there. That's it. So keep it in close. Find that still point. Connect to the dantian. Connect to the core. Connect your feet to the ground. And you apply that and pivot around to fulcrum. Use your left hip. Use your waist. There you go. Okay, good. So do that again. And you apply that. Then as you do that, and I apply it to my waist. And I pivot around the fulcrum the same way. So as you're pushing and you're going for that, I find that fulcrum. If I find it before you do, I win. So you can be really, really strong, really, 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 really strong. And are you really strong? Are you really, really strong? And I just change the fulcrum around and I move it. Now you did something earlier that was instinctively clever. So you pulled it close to your body, you turned, and you started applying the pressure to this. And when that didn't work, you started moving the pressure up your arm, and you started using your elbow against me and trying to move the fulcrum up to my arm. So if I can start fighting my elbow, then you can go back to that. So if you apply the pressure with your elbow to my elbow, like that, and I try to straighten that out, now you put the fulcrum back onto the wrist while I'm still thinking, here, there, then you've got it. But what you have to do when you do that, you move the fulcrum up here, you apply the pressure here, and you threaten me with your elbow. As you threaten me with your elbow, I start to think about here, and then you do that. So it moves the fulcrum right back there. And as soon as you get that, right, you get the fulcrum here. As soon as I put my mind here, no, it's not there, it's there, there. So you have to go there and threaten that. Then as soon as I engage that, then you have that fulcrum. So from here, if I've got this, like that, that's pretty easy. Right? So, and of course, if I'm doing a catch, I'll step back and I'll lengthen it out. I'll try to make it as far from you as possible, and I'll try to do that. With Tuishou, we're in here, I've got this, and I put the fulcrum like that. It's the same idea. But most people try to bend over. They don't figure out where the fulcrum is. They take this, because this is not a real joint lock. I'm not holding on to anything. Right? But it's applying pressure into your spine. And it works because I'm pivoting, making your fulcrum go here, making the fulcrum go there, making that pivot, and making it connect to your center. So this is spiraling through your arm to your spine.
So it's not just the pain, it's
the control, right. The pain is not as relevant as the control. The pain is sometimes helpful and distracting from the control, but the pain is not the power itself. Right? So I can do a joint lock like this, and I can apply it so that it causes pain, but I don't control the other person's arm. All it's going to do is irritate them and make them want to punch me in the face. But if without the pain, I can still have control. Okay? Yeah. So the pain is not the control is not the pain. And a lot of people confuse those two. So if I'm doing a lock like this, or if I'm doing a lock like this, I just need one little finger. I just need to be able to keep that from sliding up there. And we worked on this the other day, so I'll be careful. But from here, it's not about the pain, it's about controlling your spine. See that? So that's not as painful.
No.
Right there. All I'm doing is keeping your thumb from going out of control. Now, the pain is extremely useful, but only intermittently. Right? You want to apply pain so that the other person realizes it, but you don't want them to be in pain when you're telling them to put their hands behind their back, because they won't hear you. You can't be punching somebody and telling them to, put their hands up. And they're going to be too much in pain to listen to what you're saying. So you apply the pain, bend your knees. There you go, thank you. Like that, so you'll go down, right? Rather than going, bend your knees, and they're going, ah, they can't hear you, right? When a couple is having a baby, if the husband is accompanying the birth, they give them certain rules. First, never talk during a contraction. Right, so nobody talks to the mother while she's going in a contraction. Right? You wait in between, because you cannot trust anything anybody says during a contraction. So from here, if I'm going to apply pressure, I'm going to apply pain, and then I'm going to use that. Then I'm going to control you, because you'll not want to be going back to that pain again. You'll try to find a way away from it. Yeah. But you're not thinking about how to regulate it when you're actually in pain. So If somebody's pinning somebody to the ground, if they're arresting somebody, the person will be struggling, and then they'll apply pressure to the lock, and the person goes, ah, and then they release the pressure, and then they tell the person to behave. If the person refuses to behave, they apply more pressure. Put your hand on your head until finally they do it. But you cannot be putting the pressure on the wrist and telling the person to behave, because they're not going to hear you. All they're going to be conscious of is the pain and trying to be somewhere else. And then when you release the pressure, they're going to just be annoyed. You're not giving them an out. So from here, you want to steer the person. You can't control them. Applying pain and command is like trying to squeeze water. You're just going to lose control of it. Right? But applying control and occasionally pain, right, is going to have a different effect. But it's possible to do the control without the pain. You wouldn't know that, having seen some of the demonstrations I've done in class, but you can. And as I get better at it, I can now apply joint locks and control with much less pain. If I want to get you into a different position, sometimes I have to change your body language, and I do that by applying pain. Right? So I change your structure. Right. The pain causes your muscles to contract, causes things to change shape. Then I change and apply control. I can't apply pain and control at the same time. They work together. Intermittently. So if I just apply pain, it's just going to hurt, but I'm not going to control you. If I just apply control, if I have a really high level of skill, see how much pain is that?
That's not painful.
That's right. It's not painful, but it is controlling your spine. Right.
Yeah.
Now, but if I do this, that's painful, and your knees you may want to move away from it, but I'm not controlling your spine. So often people will apply pain, and then the person will just get out of it and attack because they're not actually being controlled. They're just being hurt. And if a person is being hurt, they'll respond often with greater aggression. So rather than hurting them, you try to control them. And once you can control them, then there's no pain involved. They just feel their structure being manipulated, but they often won't know where it's coming from. Right? Because this is your wrist. I'm attacking your wrist, right? But I'm not controlling your spine. You're controlling your spine. This is controlling your spine. It's not controlling your wrist. So it's a different attitude. It's a different psychology. And when I'm here, if I use force against this, I can apply force and I can go like that. It's not going to move you, right? But it might hurt a little. But if I go here and I think of where your core is, that's easy. And that didn't hurt either of us. Most importantly, it didn't hurt me, but it also didn't hurt you. Right? So from here, I'm controlling your center. Right? I'm not applying a lot of pressure to the wrist. And I'm doing that. This is a push hand skill. This is Tai Chi Tuishou. So I'm applying this leverage, and I'm able to feel where your spine is, see where your feet are moving. See, I'm in your toes, I'm in your heels. I don't even have a joint lock anymore.
No.
Right, it's there. I'm in your heels. And that doesn't matter because the point of contact is not relevant. It's the alignment of the engagement that makes the difference. Right? So
disrupting the balance.
Right. And when you get good at it, you can do it without contact. Right? You can manipulate the other person's body language, their structure, their psychology, and their center of gravity. So from here, I can go, oh, there's your center of gravity. There, that little touch right there. There, and that. Okay, so this was not a strike to the neck. It's not a push. It's not grappling or anything like that. It's just here, I've got your neck. You're trying to stand up. I extend your neck, your chin forward and go up and around. But I do it not to fight against your head, not to try to make your head move. But I move your head in order to control your spine and twist it and affect your center. And it goes right down there. All right, the power goes that way. It's very different from, the trying to throw the other person as opposed to that. Well, yeah, we can say art. It's not something that's specific to any particular art. It's a skill level. It's a dimension of method. Right? So there are some people who, meaning that sometimes it's not even appropriate to call it a skill level. It's a way of looking at things. And once you find that way of looking at it, some people who don't have a great deal of skill can do it. Right? It's a different skill, I suppose. And it's differentiation. So, you have leverage. Right? There's that in my own body. I can understand my own leverage. But to be able to understand the leverage of your body, that's a different skill set. To be able to understand the relationship between thought, emotion, and posture, that's a different skill set. Right? They're all roughly related, but I hesitate to call them skill levels. Because there are some people who have much higher skill in a different skill set, and they're able to beat the crap out of me, right? And I have this skill set, and some people say, oh, that's a higher level of skill. Well, it's a different skill set, because if it were a higher level of skill, I would be better than people who didn't have this skill. But there are people who don't have the skill who can beat me in a fight. Right? So it's different. There are many
elements.
Yeah.
Engagement.
Whether you think of it as quality or quantity, it's all semantics.
Say you do a generalization without taking into account.
Yeah, some things are a matter of degree, some things are a matter of kind, right? So sometimes it's a completely different thing, sometimes it's the same thing, only more. So it's like the difference between Canadians and Americans. I think it was either Howie Mandel or Martin Short who said, Canada is exactly like the United States, only not as much. So is it a difference in kind, or is it a difference in quality? It's hard to say. So if you're going to switch the fulcrum, you've got to engage one or the other. Right. So there, you engage that. That's it. There.
Change.
That's it. Right. So as long as you're just going after this and you're tackling one point, go ahead. You're going to apply all the pressure you want. I'm going to make that my still point, and my whole body is going to adjust around that still point. So you apply the pressure all you want, and it's not going to bend.
Right.
If you have incredibly good leverage and incredibly good strength within that range, so this has to be here, and you pull into the wrist. You're trying to get that there. Don't keep the thumbs in the middle of the hand. There. So you're right in there. Pull it in close to your body. Drop your shoulders, drop your elbows, keep it down. See, that's at a weak position for me. No, you're sliding up off of my fingers. Yeah. Keep it in there. So you've got to press against your own fingers, and then tilt. That's it. And then you tilt. That's it. There. So the thumbs and the fingers, that's your grip. So you get right in the middle like that. And this is the wrist. You bend that. That's it. So you apply that pressure there, and now you've got to bend. Make me move my spine first. So there, that's it. See the difference? Right? And then you turn, then
just like the smallest visualization.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why we call
space.
It's an internal skill. Right? So I can apply like this, or I think, oh, the spine. Oh, his feet. Oh, how about your toes, your heels? I just have to think about that.
Where you are.
Yeah, it's like Tsai, when we do Tsai. I think about going into your ground, then I think about going into my feet, and then you're really light, and you just go away. I can't, it's not actually pushing. I'm standing here and I'm thinking about going in, and I think about going there, and then I go this way. So it's the same thing with the joint lock. Here, I've got your hand. Now I don't even have the right pressure. I don't have the right grip. I don't have anything. But if I go in and I think about your spine, I've still got your spine. I don't have the joint lock. I don't have that control, but I have this spiral connection into your center. There you go, and then you connect it to the ground.
Yeah.
So,
So you showed me. But.
Exactly. So from here, I go like that. Right? And some of it I'll apply a little more pressure here, and then I'll apply the idea there. So I can apply the pressure to the hand, and then I can go to your feet, and then I can go to your core, and then I go back to the hand again, and then I go back to your feet. So I can move the mind in and out. Like that. So it's like that. And that way you have to be able to keep up with the fulcrum. You have to say, where is the fulcrum? Where is it? You know? So if you're just applying the pressure to my hand, right, I can keep the fulcrum there. That's no problem. You use your mind instead of your elbow to go up to my elbow. Don't use your elbow even. Just apply the pressure here. It's not working. So you think about my elbow. There you go. So I go to my elbow, and now I have to engage there and extend and unify those two things. Then you go to my core. Then I have to unify and connect the core to the elbow, to the hand, to that fulcrum. And then you go to my hips. There, now I have to connect my hips to my core, to my elbow, to the hand. Then you go to my feet. There, now I have to connect my feet to the core, to the hips and the arm and the hand. So it's all one big fulcrum. Now my body just becomes this one continuous, unbroken flow of energy. And you are now broken.
Yeah.
So bring it in and connect it to yourself. So you have your thumb there, your hands there, okay? And you connect that here. Bring it in close to your body. Connect your shoulders and your elbows to that. Connect your waist to it. Connect your hips to it, your legs to it. Connect the ground. Connect the center of the feet to it. Now use all of that, connect all of that to this, and then connect that to my shoulder. Connect that to here, then to my elbow there, and then to my shoulder. There you go. Then to my back. If find my back, go up my arm, and there you go. And then my back, mind my waist. So there we go. And then my hips. Oh, keep it close, keep it close. You're losing your connection to get mine. And that's a common thing. People will lose their own balance to attack the other person's. It's the first mistake in martial arts. And it's the last mistake that you make in a fight. It's like, yeah. So, you want to maintain your own connection first. It's an internal style. It's all about you. Right. So as an internal style, it's all about you. But as a martial art, it's all about the other person. So you connect you to the ground, to your feet, and then you connect through that into me, there, and there, now it's about me. So then when you finally get really, really good, there's no distinction, no designation between you and me. So there is no enemy, right? Your center, your connection connects to my center, and it's like you have feet on that side, you have feet on this side. And you can walk with it. You can move those feet, or you can move these feet. And when you connect, so you go ahead, so you connect right to there, like that, there you go, into the elbow, into the shoulder, into the waist, into the hips. There you go, and you move my feet, right? Or you move your feet, well, or we move. Right, so that's it. So you keep that connection, open that up. Then I have to connect it into the ground, there, like that. And I connect your feet. And then, boom. And this is control, not pain. Like that. If I want to apply pain, I can, but that would be just mean. Or
not
frightened.
Exactly. It does help my wrist to an extent.
Yeah, the endorphin rush does kick in after a while. When people start giggling, we know it's time to take a break from the joint locks. People say, because the endorphins are kicking in a little too much.
Why does that happen? Is that just a...
Oh, your body produces a bunch of chemicals to deal with the pain. Same thing happens when you run too far or do any exercise. After a while, you go through it just doesn't hurt anymore. Well, there are other things at stake there. See? There, I would have had a joint lock before, but now you're connecting it to the ground. Even though your shoulder's out of alignment, it's still connected and your mind is still connecting. So you connect that, drop your shoulder, open up your waist, feel that connection to the ground, so there. Now you've made this the still point. Do that again, right? I make that the still point, and I have your control of your center again. So the difference in alignment is where my mind is on the center, where your mind is on the center. So from here, I connect your center there, and now I'm using force. That's making your fulcrum go over there. I'm going to switch the fulcrum on you while you're preoccupied with that. So.